Loading equipment for rail carrying trains 50, 61, 63. Roble developed its 40, 61, 63 equipment for loading rail carrying trains for the safe, swift and economical transport, as well as loading and unloading of long welded rails up to 500 meters. The unit consists of the following components: two-sided chute wagon set, rail manipulator, two-sided transport unit, the loading facility for rail carrying trains, a system proving its worth. Setting up. Before the actual work process of loading and unloading rails, the following setup work is required. This is already done before travelling to the work site. Impact retention walls securing the rails during transport are folded to the side. Bridging rails are hooked in. Buffer blocks tilted down. Universal roller heads are put in place and spring-mounted chutes fitted so that the rails can be guided smoothly on the chute wagon. For easier access to the cabin, the unit has two pneumatically operated sets of steps. The spacious cabin offers room for two operators, each of whom controls one of the two hydraulic slewing arms via joystick. Good visibility allows the operators an ideal view to the front in working direction as well as to the back via a video camera. Unloading. The rail manipulator grips a pair of rails and pulls it to the front end of the chute wagon. Drives to the back and grips the pair of rails again. The loading facility for rail carrying trains enables accurate positioning of the rail, head on head. Now the rails can be unloaded. The rail manipulator then secures the two rails and the whole loading facility is pulled out from underneath it and the rails. In the meantime, the rail manipulator and the locomotive are driving in opposite directions at synchronized speed. If the rail has sufficient ground contact, the rail clamps can be undone by the crane operator, and with the aid of the deviation rollers, the rails can even be unloaded in curves, hassle-free and without tilting. In the meantime, the rail manipulator can already position the next pair of rails. The rail ends glide onto sleepers on the spring-mounted chutes, which prevents any damage to the sleepers. More layers of rails are made ready for unloading by opening the roller support blocks. After unloading, the next batch of new rails is loaded. Long welded rails are rolled up to 120 meters in steelworks and welded to even longer units in stationary welding works. Loading. Only the equipment for loading rail carrying trains by Roble is able to load rails safely and swiftly. The rail manipulator grips the front rail ends using the clamps of the hydraulic slewing arms. These are lifted and the locomotive starts pushing the rail loading train underneath. Then the rails are placed into the fixed universal roller heads via the deviation rollers and guided through the rail channels. The following measures need to be carried out to secure the rails safely on the wagons. Clamping the rails on the clamping structure and, in the case of several layers of rails, slewing in and locking the standard support blocks, as well as mounting the anchoring structure. Shutting down. Shutting down the complete unit does not require much time. Securing the rail manipulator on the chute wagon, fixing the grabs, unhooking the bridging rails, tilting up the buffer blocks, folding in the impact retention walls for transport. The 406163 equipment for loading rail carrying trails by Robel guarantees safe and swift transport, as well as economical and gentle loading and unloading of long welded rails, even in difficult conditions such as curves, reverse curves, and super elevations. Benefits: safety, swiftness, economic efficiency. Loading equipment for rail carrying trains 40, 61, 63 by Robel.